Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Centers. We had some technical difficulties. Welcome to everybody jumping on. We're going to be talking today about the drop in effectiveness of the COVID shot and what we're seeing Moderna, Pfizer, what the research is showing, and which one is actually doing better and which one fared better, and what you need to be doing now to get your body as strong as possible, whether you've had the shot, haven't had it, you are thinking about it, need a booster, whatever it is. So go ahead, if you guys have not already, like or follow our page. Share it with anybody that you know that is having questions, that is like, what am I supposed to do? There's so much information out there. I love gathering information, putting it together in a way that people can use it and take massive action with that. So also pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see that all over the country, all over the world. But we're going to get into this and get pretty in depth today into what is actually going on. So basically, what the reports are showing is that there's a major drop in effectiveness of these shots that they had came out with in November, December, January. They were saying 90% plus effective. They looked at the 43,000 people in each study and were able to see, okay, in the half the people that got it, half the people that didn't, the ones that got it, 90% less chance of getting it through there. Okay, well that was all well and good, and then they ran forward with it and said, let's get this EU. Hey Kayla, good to see you there. And Mary, Rome, New York. Yeah, I went to Syracuse up by Rome there. So major drop in effectiveness to the point where Moderna said they're now 76% effective, and the Pfizer, this is what the Mayo Clinic is saying, Pfizer is saying only 42% effective at stopping the COVID infection. And hey Rachel, good to see you there in Florida. So went from 76% in Moderna, 42% in Pfizer, but from 90+%. So we've got some major droppage here in the effectiveness that, if you're at 42%, you're talking, if somebody took vitamin D and got their vitamin D up, you're in that similar range. So it's really a lot lower than that is. And there's Suzette. So okay, Suzette's got a good comment there as well. So here's what happened is this was 50,000 patients in this study, more than even the original ones that were done for that EUA. And so I'm not saying whether you should get the shot or shouldn't, if your job requires it, do or don't, but I'm saying that even if you do, you still have to take care of your body. You still have to do everything you possibly can to keep your body as strong as possible. We posted something this weekend. Hey, Casey there in Vegas, we posted something this weekend about that people that are overweight and obese, they are going to shed the virus much longer. We know that they are going to be more of a potential super spreader. And so we got some heat that you can't pick on people because they're overweight. And that's not what we're saying. Whether somebody's overweight or they have high blood pressure or they have diabetes or any of these things, you've got to take care of your body, and you got to get it as strong as you possibly can, regardless. Hey there up in Alaska. Teresa, great to see you. So regardless of whether it is, what your pre-existing condition is, whether you're just tired, whether you're not sleeping well, whether your brain isn't working as well as it should, your stress is too high, whatever those things are, that is this major stressor that you've got to help so your immune system can function as well as possible. So again, from 90% effective, we're down to 76% for Moderna, 42% for Pfizer. In Israel, which has used mostly Pfizer shots, they're now authorized their third dosage for people over 60, because we know that if people are older, 60, 70 plus, that the vaccines do not work very well. In flu vaccine, it works about half as effective as somebody in their 20s if somebody's over 70. So, for those people, they're giving that third dose. Another study showed that people in Florida, that if they had the Pfizer vaccine, they were 2 times as likely for a breakthrough infection as someone that had taken the Moderna vaccine. And so here's what we're looking at is, and I'll post the article down below when I'm done here. Is the Moderna that much better than the Pfizer or not, right? I don't know those things, but what I do know, hey Sarah there in Texas, but what I do know is that no matter what, people are getting sick. It's not just 99% of the people that are sick right now are unvaccinated. We know the New York Yankees, I've been a Yankees fan forever, so I still follow the New York Yankees. They've had 15 different players this year that have gotten COVID. And all of them, except for one that we know of, had been vaccinated. So what does that mean? Well, there was all these breakthroughs, and they went from mild to severe infections. And they're, all the players are like, what the heck? We did all this so that we wouldn't have to wear masks in the dugout and be able to keep playing all year. And they've missed a lot of games this year from it, even though they have had the shot. So again, they're going to fall into some of those percentages, and they'll say, oh, well, they didn't get sick, they didn't die, whatever. But that age demographics, 20 to 30-year-old that is playing baseball, fit, healthy, whatever, they're not going to have many issues anyways. But really fascinating. Moderna, this is actually their first product they've ever brought to market. They're working on Zika, HIV, influenza, messenger RNA vaccines. But here's the deal. Whether you've had your shot or you haven't, you need to do these things on a regular basis. You've got to get your quality sleep. You've got to shut your brain down. You've got to keep your blood sugar as stabilized as possible. I just shot a little thing out on Facebook the other day about that, and I think some people got confused. Every time that blood sugar spikes up or it goes down low, it puts a stress on the immune system, especially the spikes. We know that from 4 to 8 hours post blood sugar spike, your immune system is going to go down and you're not going to be able to function as well fighting things off. So we have to keep that blood sugar stabilized. You need to be doing your regular exercise, getting fresh air, getting your vitamin D. We've seen research way better than 42% effective at getting people their vitamin D over 50, and they're going to have way less likelihood of going to the hospital, way less likelihood of catching COVID, of having any of these issues. Tons of research out there on this. So what we do know is that the percentage effectiveness has dropped dramatically, and so whether you have or have not had the shot, you need to take care of your body. You need to put everything you can into being as strong as feasibly possible. Let me run through, I know a bunch of questions came through here, so let me jump back up through some of these, and let's go. Junction Shelley. Yeah, so, and that's the part too. I know some of you have said you haven't had the shot. Some of you have said you have, but it's frustrating because they're blaming it on people that have not had it. But in reality, it's both people that have and have not. Hey, Bernadette, good to see you as well. And KC, what are you doing out in Vegas there? Yep, love hearing about vitamin D levels. What vitamin D levels do you guys have? Go ahead and post those down below. I like it 60 to 80. That's where I like to see patients at. And if you can get out between 11 and 1, get that bikini on and really get it cranking, that's going to be a huge part of it. But most people aren't going to do that, so you may just need to take some. And Diane, good to see you there. Suzette, absolutely, we got to be stronger. And Jennifer, what do you think about healthcare workers being mandated? It's interesting. I work on a lot of nurses personally, and we've seen a bunch that have come back and said, oh man, what am I going to do? I know most of the places are doing medical or religious exemptions, and then they just have to wear a mask all the time, kind of like you used to have to do with the flu vaccine as well. So it's a tough one. We just had a friend of ours that she's a nurse, and she ended up having to go through that same thing, and she decided to keep her job, and thankfully she's doing okay. Yeah, so hey Doris, so what a lot of people do is they'll do 50,000 IU of vitamin D for 3 days. And again, that's on an individualized basis. You got to know what your levels are and everything. But 50,000 a day is what a lot of people will do to boost their that immune system for a little bit before they get sick. Hey Vicki, good to see you there. So 50,000 for 3 days. And Monique, good to see you as well. And let's go here. Anybody else? Diane, D3 plus K2. A lot of the research is showing that K2 can be effective in there as well. And anything else? Any information on immune compromised people and their chances? Does taking vitamins help? Absolutely. So here's the deal with immune compromised, and you saw they just approved the third shot for this. I've got a patient that had a kidney transplant, and she is had her shots, did a antibody test, and they're not even there, and she had no antibodies, and that was because she's on immunosuppressants. So people that are immunocompromised, they're on immunosuppressants, really not going to do a whole lot if they do get the shot or not. And even if they do, their immune system's really not that revved up to creating problems in there. So it's probably kind of null and void whether they do. So what do you have to do? Well, you get your vitamin D, you focus on everything you possibly can to keep your body as strong as feasibly possible for those of you that are immunocompromised. But again, I would check antibodies and just see if it worked in the first place. If not, you really got to put that energy into keeping your body as strong as feasibly possible in there. And Cindy, good to see you. Another one. I have 3 friends fully vaccinated with symptomatic COVID. I know 3 personally. How many more are out there? Elaine, exactly. The one lady I know in town here that's been in the hospital in the past couple of weeks, she was vaccinated as well. And so, it is what it is. This is what the Research Mayo Clinic came out with: 76% effective for Moderna, 42% effective for Pfizer. Where they used to be in January, they came out and said at first 90 to 95% effective. So again, share this with everybody you know. People need to know that they still, even if they've had the shot, they need to be taking care of their body. They need to they can't go out and eat Dunkin' Donuts and do all those things. You've got to take care of your body regardless of what you're doing. Whether you're not vaccinated or you are, you've got to take care of your body because you're just as contagious either way, and very good chance that if you have that potential and your immune system is depleted, you're going to have these symptoms in the first place. So, there's Kylan Keisha. Awesome. 3 people that are that have had the shot and have it now. And so, this is happening. Shara, great to see you. And anybody else? Diana, how can we get them to start talking about the antibodies? It's easy. You just go and get the antibodies tested. You can get those done even in, I think, Walgreens and some stores like that can do that. How much vitamin D and zinc do I need every day? So Greg, you need to get your vitamin D. Most people, 60 to 80 is a really good range that we'll recommend with our patients. So if you're working with a doctor, ask them on that. But you need to get your vitamin D tested and then see where that's at. But zinc, 25 to 50 milligrams for most people is pretty good. Teresa, 69 is where it is at. Great job. Right in that sweet spot where we want it to be. On the fence, had the first one, but refused the second shot. Will a flu shot matter? So in 2019, there were 62,000 people died from the flu. In 2020, there were 646 people died with the flu. So flu went away last year. Is flu going to come back this year? And there's different theories on that, but ultimately, if flu was basically gone last year and it probably won't come back this year, do we need that? Maybe not. Holly, hi from Bartlett, Tennessee. Any thoughts on survivors who have the antibodies present and taking the vaccine? So a lot of research out there showing that it's just as protective to have had COVID, have the antibodies, and be just as good, and probably I would guess better than 42% that we're seeing with the Pfizer one, which is kind of interesting. So hopefully that helps. How much D should one take? A lot of people do take 10,000 a day, like you are there, Melissa. So if that's enough that you can get your vitamin D where it needs to be, great, go for it. And Rebecca, same thing. We talked about that D and zinc. Hopefully that helped. Yes, 50,000 per day for only 3 days. You don't do that long term, but just a 3-day boost, maybe only once a quarter for somebody as well. And Do you recommend water fasting for busting immune system? No, I don't recommend the water fast very often. It's very stressful for the adrenals, stressful for a lot of different things in the body. You know, if somebody's really depleted, they've got to keep that blood sugar steady to fight it off, that immune system. So I usually don't. Casey, what happens with an excess of vitamin D? There can be detrimental effects. So if you are doing 10, 15,000 a day of vitamin D, you've got to get it checked. I've seen more high vitamin D this year than I ever have in practice. So make sure you're getting your vitamin D levels tested and not just taking a bunch. Levette, the research is showing that if people have positive antibodies, they've had COVID, that it's going to be able to fight off the variants as well. They're very, very close in what they look like. And anybody else? Cannabis. Yeah, you know, for some people, cannabis can be helpful. Yep, we got Levette there answered. My husband had bone marrow transplant and has been severely immunocompromised. Yeah, you know, it's one of those 50-50. CBD is kind of one of those 50-50 things where some people it works well for, other people it doesn't. So it's not the be all and end all. You've taken Pamela, bromelain, D3, of course, vitamin C. Have you heard about doing tourniquet? No, I have not seen that one. You can post some of that down below. Any other questions? And I think that is about it. All right, guys. Tips for monitoring and maintaining balanced blood sugar daily. Check out Amazon. My book is called Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie, and Galyard, G-A-L-Y-A-R-D-T. Just Google that on Amazon, and the book's on there. I go in depth into how to track that blood sugar. You can do finger prick. We use continuous glucose monitors with every one of our new patients. So it's huge for helping that immune system function as well as possible. So Shannon had the first Pfizer. I do not want to get the second one. Any thoughts? Well, that's a personal decision as to what you want to do, need to do for yourself. And so I would talk to your healthcare team and just see, you know, what your demographics, your age, your potential. Have you had the infection before? All of those things go into it. You know, these are personal decisions here that need to be made. And yeah, Pamela, I have not known anybody that has done that specifically. And Shannon, I've not had COVID. So yeah, I mean, that's really up to you and your healthcare team. You guys have to figure that out. Have you heard anything about the Delta variant coming from the vaccinated? Well, we talked about this last week, that you know, viruses are like antibiotic resistance. The research shows that the more that we suppress down the easy stuff, that the more problematic ones will come up, kind of like antibiotic resistance. So anybody else? All right, that looks like about it. All right, so let's recap. This was, and I'll drop the study down below. Mayo Clinic, they went through and found that Moderna is about 76% effective right now. Pfizer is way down to 42% effective. Lots of breakthrough infections. They're going to tell you that it's less likely to go to the hospital, less likely to get sick. So I don't know about that. We'll see. Florida, they showed that Moderna, people that had the Moderna vaccine had a 60% lower risk of getting infected and going to the hospital than the Pfizer group. Israel, they're giving their third dose of Pfizer for people over 60, regardless of immune system function and all of that. So anyways, just thought you guys would find this interesting. Love having you on. Drop down any questions below. We'll be monitoring this, but otherwise, make it a great day, and you guys stay strong out there. Keep that immune system cranking. Take care.